Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy AJ, and I am back for another video. This is going to be a different type of video. I've never done anything like this, but I'm doing a countdown for my 100 movies list of 2021. And if you don't know what that is, it is a project that I started. I was thinking about it in 2020, and I was like, okay, I want to do a list of films that I have not seen throughout the years, things that people have told me that, hey, AJ, you need to watch, and movies that I just seen along the way where I was like, okay, I want to watch it, but I've been just putting it off. So I started in January of 2021, and so I had 100 movies that I wanted to catch before the end of the year. And I'm on one now. I'm on because I counted down. So I am on number one now. I haven't seen my last film, but I'm going to do the first 50 films on this live stream. I'm going to talk about them. Just kind of give a brief my brief thoughts on the film. I'm not going to go really in depth because I did write reviews for each of these films, and they're on my Instagram and my letterbox. So if you haven't seen, if you don't know my thoughts on these movies, you could just go to my Instagram, my letterbox, and there are in-depth thoughts about each film that I'm going to talk about today. So we're just going to get the ball rolling. We're going to start with number one. Requiem for a Dream. This is the very first film. I watched this on January 1st of 2021. Is the very first film I saw on my list, and it is a fantastic movie. Fantastic. 5 out of 5 for me. I loved this movie. Way to kick off the 100 movies list, man. I was dumbfounded by the acting in the film, by the cinematography, by the depth of the story. Like, it had me enthralled and intrigued throughout the entire film. So I had to pick it up on 4K. I went ahead and picked it up on 4K, and I do not regret it. I haven't seen it yet on 4K. I watched it. I streamed it the first time I watched it, but then I went and picked up the 4K. So I'm gonna sit down and watch the 4K and enjoy it that way as well. So moving on to the next film, Poetic Justice. This is a film that I felt like I needed to watch. People have told me that I need to watch. Oh, you haven't seen Poetic Justice? Oh, are you crazy? Tupac, Janet Jackson, so I sat down, watched Poetic Justice. It was a good film. I enjoyed it. It was, I felt like there were a few things in the film that I just was like, okay, I guess, like their relationship was a little dysfunctional, and like, I don't know. I feel like when I watch romances, I think that the relationship should turn into something where you really feel that love. And I don't know if I really felt that by the end of this film. I know they were going back and forth. They were bickering throughout the entire film, which is okay. But when you leave on kind of a weird note, like, that's how I felt with the film anyway. I felt like they left on kind of a strange note. They still had a little animosity towards each other. So I don't know. It wasn't exactly for me, but it was a good film. I enjoyed it for what it was. The next film is Hot Fuzz. This one is by Edgar Wright. This is directed by Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. And this is the first, I think this is the first Simon Pegg and Nick Frost film. Yeah, it's the first one that I've seen. And because I saw Shaun of the Dead later in the year. But yeah, this one was really good. This one was funny. It was clever. It didn't have zombies, but that's okay. It was good. I liked Hot Fuzz a lot. It wasn't a perfect film. It wasn't like a perfect comedy for me because not all the jokes hit. But for the most part, I really enjoyed it. Next film, Logan Lucky. I was kind of surprised with this one. I really liked it. We have Daniel Craig and Adam Driver and what's his name? I don't know why I'm blanking on Channing Tatum's name right now, but Channing Tatum and Adam Driver and Daniel Craig. Um, I feel like they were kind of all out of their element with this one. Maybe just Daniel Craig the most. I feel like Daniel Craig the most. He was kind of out of his comfort zone acting wise, but he pulled it off and it really worked. I thought it was very well done. Some comments. Tony Movie Chappie, can't wait. Hey AJ, how you been doing lately? I'm good, man. Might of a nerd, yo. Alex Thomas, yo. What's going on, fellas? Thank you for stopping by. Moving on to the next film, Love, Simon. This one caught me off guard. I thought it was gonna be just kind of like a teen drama. You know, I didn't really know what to expect much. But the narrative being told in this film and you know how they conveyed it, I really enjoyed. And I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack to this film. And the story was great as well. The acting, I think from some folks was better than others for sure, but and all the jokes didn't work, but you know, it was a great film. I really enjoyed it. Love, Simon. Next one is mid-90s. This is Jonah Hill's, I think, directorial debut. I'm pretty sure it is. And I was impressed. I think mid-90s is a little, it's not really talked about as much as, you know, a drama as an A24 film. And I don't think a lot of people loved it. People that watched it that I talked to, they said that they you know, it was okay, but they didn't love it. I really enjoyed. I think it was maybe I don't know. Did I give it a 5? I don't think I gave it a 5. I think I might have gave it a 4.5 out of 5 or a 4. But maybe, I mean, upon reflection, it's a 4/4.5. But I might have given it a 5 because I enjoyed it so much the first time I watched it. I would have to go back and look at my score for it, but it's a coming of age story based in the 90s. You know, go figure. This next one, though. Oh, this next one, bruh. I just feel defeated after watching this movie. I don't even really want to talk about it much. It's just all over the place. And the acting was okay. The action was okay. It wasn't god awful, but the story, like, what was the story? I can't even tell you what this movie was about. Like, even when I watched it, I can't tell you what this movie was about. I know I watched it in January of this year, but it's just all over the place. Helen Mirren was great as usual, but in a film that nobody really wants to see. So Anna, I didn't like it, didn't care for this one at all. So moving on to the good stuff. Godfather Part 2. Now this movie was a breath of fresh air after Anna. It was really, really well done, really well put together. I know everybody is like, we know, AJ, why are you telling us that The Godfather is good? Godfather Part 2 is good. We already know that. We've already seen it. It was you that needed to watch it. I know. And it was great. It was phenomenal. I got a hot take, though. I got a hot take about this film. I like the first one better. And I got some more hot takes on these films later on down the list. But yeah, I enjoy Godfather Part 1 better. I don't know if it's because it's basically like the same like tone, the same like acting styles, the same everything. But like I just enjoyed this story being told more in Part 1, maybe because it was kind of new to me. I never really watched mobster films before this series. So I don't know. I saw Gangster Squad, and then yeah, I didn't watch Goodfellas yet. That's later on my list. But yeah, Godfather Part 1 was like the first mobster film I ever saw, and I really loved it. I loved it. 5 out of 5. This one, it might be a 5 out of 5 too, but if I'm doing a ranking, I'm going to put Godfather Part 1 over Godfather Part 2, which is I know, unheard of. I know it's unheard of, but that's just how it is, man. That's how I feel about them. Some comments. Love Godfather Part 2. I mean, both first Godfather and second are fives, so it doesn't really matter. You're right. You're right. They are both fives, but I feel like if I'm doing a ranking, I would put one over two. Godfather Part 2 is incredible, but I agree. I like the first one better. Okay, I don't feel as bad now. I don't feel as bad. My buddies are saying they like Part 1 better. Well, Alex is saying that. But yeah, so then we get to this. We get to this. Yo, this movie, Godfather Part 3. No, just no. There's so many just knows about this movie. It shouldn't have been made. We should have ended it with Godfather Part 2. It should have been just a original and a sequel and call it a day. This one just kind of messes up its legacy a little bit. I hate that because the Godfather series, Part 1 and Part 2, are just so phenomenal. Just 5 out of 5 films, and then you go and do this. Tragic. All right, next one. Green Book. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Best Picture? What's the Best Picture though? I don't know, man. It's been a while since I watched it. I watched it I think in January, either January or February when I watched this one. I don't think it's Best Picture, man. I liked it. I did like it. It's just some things about it just didn't feel authentic to me. It felt kind of fabricated a little bit. It just didn't really hit those beats like I thought they would. And there definitely were some emotional scenes, definitely some heartwarming scenes, but not Best Picture for me. I'm sorry. Which cut of Godfather 3 did you watch? I think it was the theatrical cut. Pretty sure. Did you ever see the newer version of Godfather 3? I think it was the theatrical cut that I saw. But yeah. Ad Astra is the next film. It was okay. I would say the visuals were phenomenal. I really love the visuals in this film. The story being told and the storytelling was a little lackluster for me, but the acting was great. Brad Pitt can basically do no wrong as far as acting is concerned. This man is a phenomenal actor. We know this, but it depends on what roles he's in and what films and what stories being told, what narratives being told. And this one, it was a little boring to me. I'm gonna be honest. I know a lot of people kind of have this one highly regarded, but I think I gave it maybe a 4. And on the next stream with the rest of my list, I'm gonna have my scores next to them. I kind of ran out of time with this one. That's why I started a little late. But the next 100 movies list part 2, I'm going to have my scores so I can kind of talk about my scores as well. But this one was kind of a miss for me, honestly. It kind of was. Yeah. It was well made. It was a well made film, but like just the storytelling and the story being told, I was uninterested. Lincoln Lawyer. I will say the thing about this film is that it is a little it's not very memorable. I will say that. But I remember, and what I do remember about it is Matthew McConaughey did a phenomenal job. Excuse me. And I remember it being kind of intense. Like, I feel like there were some scenes and sequences that were pretty intense with the film. Yeah. So next year when I do my 100 movies list, I'm going to stop it right here for a second. Next year when I do my 100 movies list, I am going to actually like do it throughout the year. so I know, like, so I can have the movies more fresh in my mind, because the movies that I've talked about so far, I've watched in January and February of this year, so they're not as fresh in my brain, and that's one reason why I'm kind of going a little quicker, because also I wrote reviews out for them. So if you're interested in more in-depth takes of these films, my more in-depth takes of these films, definitely check out my Letterboxd and Instagram. So moving on to the next film. Yo, I absolutely love V for Vendetta, man. Natalie Portman, Hugo Weaving. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's go. As my buddy Alex Thomas would say, let's get it. Let's go. This movie, I gotta watch it again soon. I picked it up on 4K last year. That's how I watched it, on 4K. And yeah, man, this one is it. This is one of my favorite of the list. I might do like, I might do, I'll probably do this in a post, but in my 100 movies list, I might do like a top 5, top 10, because there were some films that really stood out this year for my 100 movies list. So, V for Vendetta, if you have not seen this movie, check it out for sure. Next film I watched was Moonlight, and this is an A24 film. I love that A24 was, going out telling a Black story. Loved it. But I think this is another one where I'm just like, best winner, best picture. I don't really like La La Land, so I know a lot of people are like, oh, La La Land should have won over Moonlight and all that. I would say Moonlight over La La Land from what I've seen. From, I watched La La Land and I didn't really care for it, so I would say Moonlight over La La Land. But I feel like there are other strong contestants for this, for that spot. And Moonlight, it frustrated me a little bit because I really, really wanted to enjoy it. But then there were just like, it felt kind of empty. I didn't connect with it as well as I thought I should have. I wanted to, but it's not a bad film though. That's the thing. Like, some of the acting wasn't great to me. And I didn't really love Naomi Harris's character in Moonlight. Like, her performance. It wasn't her character, it was her performance. I was like, Naomi Harris can do better than this. I've seen her do better than this. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just me and I just didn't, it hit me the wrong way or something. But I don't know. Like, the story was decent. The story was fine. I liked how they broke it up into 3 parts, kind of like how they're showing it on the poster here. Like, they broke it up into 3 parts when he was very young, teenager, and adult. And I like that. I love when movies break up and like do chapters and stuff like that and kind of like organize the film. I really love when, stories do that. But when we were in some of the stories and like some of the sequences, it just felt empty to me. It didn't feel like authentic or something. I'm trying to explain it the best way I can, but that's how I feel about Moonlight. A good film. I would buy it on physical media. I just haven't yet, and I'm looking for a good price for it because it's not one that I absolutely love or will rewatch a lot. So that's just how I feel. Moving on to the next film is Twister. And what can I say about Twister? This is a classic film. Producers of Jurassic Park and Speed. I felt like this movie is really, really well done, except for the effects. The effects are a little dated. I can't. It was hard to take something seriously with this one, but overall, I liked it. Moving on to the next one, Roma. Yeah, this one, I would say maybe Best Picture. I really dug this one. I know a lot of people said, "Oh, it's too slow. Oh, it doesn't have different elements. It doesn't hit those beats and things like that. I thought it did. I thought it hit all the beats. I think it hit me emotionally. Um, it was very, very slow moving and slow paced, but that was just the kind of film it was. It's black and white. I mean, it's like kind of that style of film. It's very artistic and cinematography heavy. So I understood that. And I ended up really liking it. I will pick this one up one day. I'll probably get it on Criterion one day, but I don't have it physically now. V for Vendetta is the shiznit. Yes, it is. It's great. Tony Movie Chappie says, I own Godfather Part 3 Director's Cut, and I still haven't watched it yet. I don't think you're missing much, but I don't know. I think I watched the theatrical cut. I don't really know which version I watched. I'm going to be honest. Luke Ponto, my boy AJ, what's up? I love Ad Astra and haven't seen Lincoln Lawyer. Yeah, I'm glad you loved Ad Astra. I didn't. I can say that it is a competent film, but it didn't hit me. All right, next one is The Big Sick. Kamal Nanjiani, Judd Apatow, Kamal Nanjiani. I was kind of hesitant on this film actually because I was like, I really like Kamal Nanjiani, but this is kind of a more serious role, and I just didn't take him that seriously. I always saw him as a comedian, always seen him as a comic. So when he did this, I was intrigued yet nervous because I was like, I don't know how he's gonna do. I don't know how much I can take this guy seriously. And he delivered. I thought this movie was really well done. I think it was hilarious. I thought it was honestly really funny. Even given the nature of the story being told, it's kind of depressing, but it's a dark comedy, honestly. At the end of the day, it's a dark comedy. So well done. Ray Romano from Everybody Loves Raymond. That's my show. I love Everybody Loves Raymond. So I had to support my boy Ray as well. And yeah, Big Sick. I liked it. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen Roma either, but I love The Big Sick. Yeah, it's a good one. I need to own it physically. Now, this film, this one right here, man. I loved this movie. And I'm not even a huge Emma Stone fan, but when I watched this, I was like, yo, this is some of the best of the list. I love the performances, love the story being told, love the comedy. It was so well blended with comedy and drama, and I don't know. I'm kind of speechless with this one. This is one of my favorites of the year. I cannot wait, no pun intended, but I can't wait to pick this one up on physical. I just loved it. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. I think, let me see if I gave it a 5 out of 5. Because upon reflection, I feel like it's a 5 out of 5. Maybe I gave it a 4 in all actuality. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I might just change that to a 5. I'm gonna rewatch it first. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna rewatch it first and see if it's a 5 out of 5 for me. But right now, I'm feeling a 5 because I just remember really enjoying it. I got a hot take coming up, but before we do that, Luke Ponto says, I'm buying the French Dispatch today. Enjoy that, man. I'm not gonna be picking up the French Dispatch probably until it gets a Criterion. I'll get it. I'm not gonna get it day one. Definitely not. I like the film, but not that much. Oh yeah, my hot take. I don't know if y'all ready for this one. All right. Scarface. I don't know if y'all know what the hot take is yet, but I'm going to have to say that I enjoyed Scarface more than Godfather, bro. I did. I know I'm breaking tons of hearts out there, the two people watching, but yo, Scarface is definitely a 5 out of 5 for me, and I think I enjoyed it more than the Godfather series. Pretty much any installment. And that's saying something because I love those movies. I love Godfather Part 1 and 2. So yeah, see, I saw somebody leave when I said that. So I think I know that's a hot take. But yeah, Scarface is phenomenal. Al Pacino, man, iconic character, iconic film. Michelle Pfeiffer. I gotta go back and watch that one. I would watch Scarface 100 times over Godfather. And like I said, not saying that Godfather isn't a bad movie. I just feel like this one is more digestible. It's more fun. I feel like it's more intriguing. Kind of seeing a man come from nothing to being the head honcho. Like, I don't know, man. That's see, with Michael Corleone, he kind of was born into it, So to see him come from nothing to go all the way to the top, man, it was a sight to see. So Scarface, 5 out of 5 for sure, man. This next film, Swiss Army Man, this one was wacky. This was a wacky film, and I say that because if you know what it's about, you know. But you got your boys Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe in this one. You got to support my man Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. But Swiss Army Man, what can I say about this one? It's wacky. I just say that. It's wacky. It's wild. I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I started watching it. And by the end of the film, I was just like, that was a film. that was a movie right there. Somebody actually sat down, wrote this movie out, wrote the script, and they put it to screen. All right, more power to them. I'm not mad at it. I'm just okay. That's how I felt at the end of this movie. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It just was okay. Wow. All right. That's how I felt. The next one is The Usual Suspects. And say what you want. I know we don't like Kevin Spacey right now. And it's granted. But Kevin Spacey in this film, man. Kevin Spacey in pretty much in every role is just phenomenal. He just is so great. And this one is no exception. Then we got Stephen Baldwin and Kevin Pollak and just all these actors, these phenomenal actors. And it was a great movie. It's not one of my favorites. And I just really enjoyed the way the story was told and like how everything was conveyed in the film. That's the biggest thing for me, and the performances. Now, what was actually being told, I don't think I loved it, but like the storytelling was different, and I like that. Coming home with some precious cargo. All right. We're gonna be watching Lord of the Rings later today, so I'm pumped for Tyler to see that. Tony Movie Chappie says, that's totally fine, AJ. I enjoy Scarface more than Godfather as well, but both movies are great. I agree. Look Review said, wacky film, haven't seen it. It is wild. When you watch it, you're probably just going to be like, all right. I think you're talking about Swiss Army Man, obviously. Luke Reviews, thanks for stopping by, bro. I just noticed that you were in here. Tony Movie Chappie says Kevin Spacey definitely isn't the best person in the world right now, but he is still a phenomenal actor, in my opinion. And you can also say the same thing about Mel Gibson. Yeah, you can. But Mel Gibson, I don't think is as hated right now, but both are pretty despicable have done some pretty despicable things, and we won't go into that on the stream, but both are great actors. So, I try to separate the art from the artist. Sometimes it's very difficult for me because it's just like, dang, they really did some despicable stuff. But on the other hand, I love movies and I enjoy performances. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn with that sometimes. I know some of my buddies are like, I don't care what they've done. I still love the movie and stuff like that. But I don't know. It does take a little bit of effect for me personally. Next film is Cowboy Bebop. Man, these photos are kind of small. All right. Cowboy Bebop is a great series. And I was like, okay, I'll watch the series. Now I got to watch the movie. And the movie I might like more than a lot of the episodes of the series. Like, we had a phenomenal villain. Like, the villain in this movie is better than any villain that we got in the series. Yeah, I'm comfortable in saying that. I was thinking for a second, like, wait, did I just misspeak? But nah, I'm comfortable saying that. The villain in this one is everything. Everything I wanted from the show. So if anybody loves Cowboy Bebop and hasn't seen this film, you gotta watch this movie. Find it somewhere. I know it's very difficult to find. I found it I found it on streaming somewhere. I'm not gonna disclose where. Wink, wink. But yeah, so I watched this earlier this year, and this one is great, mainly because of the villain. All right, next one is Lion. Man, when I say this movie had me wrecked, bruh, this movie had me wrecked. I know this poster is like, it's not in English, but this is the best resolution photo that I could find for the poster. Oh man, this movie wrecked me, man. Dev Patel just brought a phenomenal performance, and he is I feel like, he's on the come up, but he is like not that talked about. He's one of my favorite actors right now in Hollywood, like, period. So yeah, he's up there for sure, especially seeing this performance in this film. And the story being told in this film will break your heart in all the best ways. All the best ways. So if you haven't seen this one, this is definitely a 5 out of 5 for me. I remember putting 5 stars on this one because it was by the end of the movie, I was like, yo, did I just witness just this caliber of film? Yeah, I did. Tony Movie Chappie says, I always separate the art from the artist. For the most part, I don't really let that affect my enjoyment of a movie. Yeah, I kind of envy people that can do that 100% and just like not think about that at all. I have some people in my life that just, if they know something that somebody has done, or they cannot enjoy anything that they've done in the past or now. So I can do a little bit. Like, I watched Baby Driver and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But I just know that there are some folks in that film that are not highly regarded right now. So moving on to the next film, Seven Samurai. This movie was good. Really, really good. Iconic film. And I know it inspired a lot of movies being made. But it was so long. I had to watch it in parts. I don't know if that's a bad thing. Maybe it's just me, and like my attention span is like a squirrel, man. Like, I just am like so distracted. If the movie does not catch me in like the first like maybe 5 minutes and like keeps it going, I get very distracted. That's an issue that I have. That's why I split a lot of movies into parts when I watch them, because I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to get too distracted. That's why I kind of like break movies into parts sometimes. This movie, I definitely had to break into parts. I think I sat down about 3 times and watched, finished it up completely. But it was a great film, and it was all in Japanese, so you know have to read subtitles, so that kind of can be a little tedious as well. But you know, if you could get over that, if you don't have a problem with reading subtitles and you know sitting there for long periods of time, this movie I definitely recommend. It's got a Criterion. I'm gonna pick it up one day, and I'm gonna watch it again one day. But it's not something that I feel like is extremely rewatchable because of that runtime. That's the only thing. Like everything else in this movie is so great. It's so phenomenal, but you know, it's that runtime for me that I personally I really can't sit and watch movies that are that long. Um, you know, in one setting. I have to split it up. All right, let's see what folks are saying. I'm definitely one of the separate the art from the artist. Like, bro, you're gonna tell me to skip Aquaman because of an actress? Come on now. Now, Amber Heard is a different kind of situation because it's not like anything that was like hurting kids. It wasn't like anybody that was hurting kids or like doing anything like extremely despicable. She's just not a good person for the things that some of the things that she's done. And like I said, we're not going to get into all the details of what people have done and you know stuff like that because that's not this kind of stream. But I do want to say that like sometimes I do feel a certain type of way. I will watch the movie. I'm not gonna just not watch a movie with Amber Heard in it, but like I'll watch the movie and I'm like, and I see her on screen, I'm like, okay, you know, I kind of roll my eyes, whatever. But it's not something that's gonna stop me watching the film. So I'm kind of like in between on that, I'd say. I don't think I've ever heard of Seven Samurai, but I'll definitely check it out. Definitely check it out. It is a very popular film. It's like one of the highest rated films of all time. So definitely check out Seven Samurai. Really good one. It's just long. Just know that it's very long. And if you have an attention span that you could sit there and watch a 3.5 hour movie straight without like any distractions, that's more power to you, bro. I'm envious. I'm definitely envious of that. This is another one that was really long but phenomenal. This movie was so good. This one I could keep my attention on a lot easier, um, mainly because I think I could connect with the story a lot more, what was being told and the performances, and you know it is in English, so I feel like this one grabbed me a lot more than Seven Samurai. But Tom Hanks, man, I think this is one of I don't know, like Tom Hanks is a great actor. I mean, we all know that. So this is no shock with this one. Michael Clark Duncan, great actor. It's just a great story. I know it's based on a book. Yeah, so The Green Mile, man. I think everybody should watch this one. Everybody should check this one out if you haven't already. Next one up is The Intouchables. This is a French film. And yeah, man, like I saw the American adaptation of this film first, The Upside with Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston. And I saw that first, maybe a couple years ago, and I picked it up on physical media. I really, really love that movie. And then I said, okay, I need to watch the original French version. And I think I might say that I like this even more. This one even more than The Upside, even though it's kind of a shot for shot remake, The Upside is. But I don't know, something I feel like this one is more authentic. It's not like as, you know, fabricated, not fabricated, but maybe it's just my mind saying that, okay, this is the original. I know that. So it feels more authentic. It might just be my own mind saying that, but I don't know, something about it for me just hit more like heartstrings than the American adaptation did, which I really enjoyed the American adaptation. So I think this is a 5 out of 5 for me. If you're into foreign films, definitely check this one out. Next one is Theory of Everything. Stephen Hawking story. Eddie Redmayne. I think the acting was well done. I just wasn't that interested in the story. I'm sorry. I just wasn't. I think it was a little bland, a little boring, and there were things happening. There's definitely drama and things happening in the film, but I don't know, man. This one didn't hit me. I think I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Next one. I was expecting to really like this one, Singing in the Rain. I love musicals. I don't know if you know that about me, but musicals are my jam. And this is like one of the most iconic. And it was in Technicolor. You got Gene Kelly, Donald O'Connor, Debbie Reynolds. I didn't care for the story at all. Like, I didn't really like the story at all. Like, usually if I have a problem with this story or issue with the story, it's like, just, minor issues. But this one, I just didn't like at all. The choreography, like some of the like music and stuff and the dance sequences just felt like, why are they doing this? Like, it doesn't feel like a musical. It feels like just a show, like a musical performance. And it's okay, but this is a movie. Like, this is a film. So I don't know. This movie didn't hit for me. Not bad. It wasn't bad. It just, the film didn't strike me. The story didn't strike me. So One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That was the next one. And I might have a hot take on this one, but no, I definitely have a hot take on this one. I didn't love it. And it wasn't like a bad movie either. I definitely can admire the performances and even the story. I'm just like, I don't know. People love this movie so much, and I feel like I'm gonna get some unsubscribe. I'm gonna get people to unsubscribe by telling them this take. But like, this is my truth, man. Like, Jack Nicholson, he's also one of the people that can pretty much do no wrong, like, as far as acting is concerned. He's so great. And even in this film, he was great. But like, I just didn't really care about what was happening in the movie. And that's just me. I know a lot of people love this one. They hold it very, very highly. I might just need to rewatch it. Maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind. Maybe I wasn't in the right state of mind to watch it. But it didn't hit me story-wise, character-wise. Like, the performances were the best part of this one, I will say. And let's see what folks are saying. Cowboy Bebop movie is awesome. One of my favorite anime movies of all time. It's definitely an amazing film. And like, mainly because of the villain for me. Everything else is well done, but it's just that villain when he is, I think his name is Vincent. His name is Vincent. He's like everything. Like, he carries the film, honestly. And if you haven't seen the movie and you love Cowboy Bebop, you gotta watch the movie. I gotta read Green Mile. It's by Stephen King. Yeah, it's based on a book by Stephen King. Have you seen the movie, Luke? That's what I want to know. The movie is so good. I haven't read the book, but I never seen the Untouchables. But I really like the Upside a lot. Yeah, if you like Upside, you'll probably like the Untouchables, even though it's pretty much a shot-for-shot remake. Green Mile is phenomenal. And when will Frank Darabont make a movie again? It's been a long time since he made a movie, since The Mist. I don't know. I don't know when he's going to make another movie. What's up, man? We got to plan a collab sometime. Yes, sir. Hit me in my DMs on Instagram, and we'll talk more about things next month for sure. Luke reviews says, I have not seen The Green Mile. I haven't seen most of the movies on this list. Yeah, you gotta check out some of these movies. There are definitely movies I recommend more than others. Like if you haven't seen V for Vendetta, if you haven't seen Requiem for a Dream, and this is just for like movie heads, like cinephiles. If you're really into cinema, that's why I made this list, because I'm really into cinema. I really love movies, but there are so many films that I have not seen. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a list and I'm gonna make a point to actually watch them. So, all right, we are on 71. Room. Another just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss, man. Such a great movie. Jacob Tremblay killed this role. Jacob Tremblay, man, hats off, man, for you, man. I really, really enjoyed. This is definitely my favorite Jacob Tremblay performance. Like in this movie and Wonder are like neck and neck for my favorite Jacob Tremblay performance. And Brie Larson did an amazing job as well. My wife really loves this book and movie, and I actually just picked it up in December. It was on sale. I found it for like $2 on Blu-ray. So that was a steal, because this movie, I really love this movie, and she has the book. I really want to read the book. So that's one that I definitely have to check out. But the movie itself, one of the best of the year. One of the best films I saw this year. Next movie, Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman. Yeah, it was good. It was really good. I think I gave it a 4.5, maybe a 4.5 out of 5. I wasn't expecting to love it, but I really did. I really enjoyed this one, and I just picked it up too on 4K. So performances are great. I love the way that Guy Ritchie tells his stories. It's kind of like quick cuts and, clever, witty comedy and things like that. And I think this cast was perfect for that. So The Gentleman. This one, I didn't really love so much. Waiting, I didn't love it. I think the comedy is extremely dated. And I think people that really love this movie were around this time where like they were watching these types of movies when it came out. People that really love this movie, because everybody that I talked to that loves this movie, they were like this. They were around when these types of movies were in their prime. So right now, like comedies and things like that are not really being made, because they know that because people know that comedy is not the biggest genre right now, and it's so easy to offend people. So you kind of have to be very careful. That's why comedy is kind of taking a back seat, genre wise right now. But it wasn't because anything really offended me in this movie, which I could see people being offended by some of the things, but it just wasn't funny to me. I think that's just what it was. It wasn't funny. Ryan Reynolds carried the film. He's good, but the story, it was just gross, and it just wasn't funny to me. Yeah. The next film is I Am Not Your Negro, and this is a documentary film by James Baldwin, and it kind of talks about film and African Americans represented in film throughout the years and how things started. I think his dad was an actor, and he just kind of talks about how things were done, how things were presented, and kind of the injustices in the film industry, and things like that, segregation, talking about all this type of stuff. But this is also one of my favorites of the year, because the way the story, not really story, but the way that things were told, and he's the narrator in this documentary. It really hit me. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, this is one of my favorites of the year that I've seen. Let's get to some more of the comments. Oscar win for Brie here. Yes, I agree. Room is amazing, and this movie proves to people that Brie Larson is a great actress. I agree. She is a great actress. There are some roles, Captain Marvel, that aren't the best. They're not the best roles. Like the way she portrays them, and just written wise, I think mainly Captain Marvel, because of how it was written, isn't the best. But I still like the character. I don't love the movie. It's not. I like the movie more than most people, but Captain Marvel is definitely kind of lower tier MCU. But we're not going to get into MCU because this is not an MCU stream. I know I could talk about MCU for a while. They still got an ad for the gentleman at my seat cinema. That's weird. Why? The movie came out last year, I think 2020. I'm pretty sure it came out in 2020. Mid-level media Ken, what's going on, bro? Sup, AJ? What is up, man? All right, the next one is 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. This was a phenomenal film. This is what you call a phenomenal film. Frances McDormand, Woody Harrelson, Sam Rockwell. They put on a great performance. I had been wanting to watch this movie for a while before I actually got to it, and I was not disappointed at all. I might say this is a 5 out of 5. I don't think that's what I rated it as when I wrote my review, but enjoyment wise, it's definitely a 10 out of 10. But like critically, I felt like there were different decisions that the characters made that could have been a little different. Performances all around were great. Sam Rockwell, I love to hate his character. Woody Harrelson, I'm not gonna get into it because I don't want to spoil anything for folks that who haven't seen it, but just know that this movie's crazy. This movie is wild. Frances McDormand just puts on a stellar performance, as always. I don't think I've ever seen a performance by Frances McDormand that I didn't like. Even Nomadland, I think she did a really good job in Nomadland, even though I didn't love the movie. So, yeah, at 3 Billboards. Yeah, man, 67. Next one is Casablanca. Classic movie. I really liked it. It's Humphrey Bogart, and I just need to get more into some black and white films. Like I think I'm kind of depriving myself of great cinema. This is proof, because like sometimes when I think about watching black and white movies, I think, it might be kind of boring. Oh, like you already know how my attention span is set up, So I was just kind of like putting it off. Like I always knew I wanted to watch it, but I just kind of was like, I kind of just procrastinated. I put it off. I was like, okay, let me sit down. I had to like really force myself. Let me sit down and watch Casablanca and watch this movie, watch this black and white film. And it was really great. And it just goes to show how I'm depriving myself, and how people that don't want to watch classic movies are depriving themselves of good cinema. Let me read some comments. Brie was good in Room, but outside of that, I'm not impressed. If you ever seen, what is the movie that she's in? My favorite Brie Larson performance is Short Term 12. That is my favorite performance from Brie Larson. And I think it it hits home. So you gotta, if you haven't seen Short Term 12, definitely check that one out. I think you will be impressed by Brie Larson's performance in that as well. Three Billboards was really good, but he didn't say really. Mid-Level Media says Three Billboards was great, but McDormand wasn't better than Robbie and I, Tonya. No, she wasn't. I, Tonya was. I, Tonya, that's a whole nother stream, man. I can talk about I, Tonya. That movie was so good. I think I watched that this year too. Maybe last year I watched it. I feel like you need a great director and a script to really get a great performance from Brie Larson. I don't know. Well, yeah. I really like her in Kong Skull Island and Free Fire. I haven't seen Free Fire. Kong Skull Island, I don't really like that movie. I feel like all the characters are pretty drab and dull. But that's just me. And I actually picked up that movie this month. It was on a crazy sale, though. That's why. I wasn't blown away by Casablanca, but it was pretty good. Blown away? I don't think I would say blown away. I felt for Casablanca, but I do feel like it was a really good movie. It was something that I felt like deprived, that I was putting it off for so long. Free Fire was good. Okay, maybe I just have to check Free Fire out. Multiple people are talking about it in the chat. I agree. Free Fire is underrated, and it's in my top 5 A24 movies. Charlotte Copley steals the whole movie for me. All right. Free Fire. I'm going to have to maybe add that to my 2022 list. All right. Moving on. Keeping the ball rolling. We're moving into the end game here with Wolf of Wall Street. If you haven't seen this movie, I would advise, well, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. This one is wild. Maybe that's just all I can say about it, because without giving anything away, not really saying about, what it's about. I probably can't say that on my stream. I might get demonetized, but this movie is wild. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. Maybe not watch it with your mom. You might not want to watch it with your mom. You might not want to watch it with your wife or girlfriend, but enjoy it for what it is. It's a very long movie. That's one thing that I kind of check out towards the third act, because I think the movie should be over by that time, and then we have a whole another hour, and I'm just like, when is it gonna be over? But this is one of Scorsese's best, definitely one of DiCaprio's best. DiCaprio is my favorite actor of all time, so I definitely have to give him props. Everybody in this movie, Jonah Hill, and everyone in this film, Margot Robbie, come on now. Like, everything, all the actors in this film were phenomenal. The story being told and like the sequences of events that happen in this film are not necessarily for me. But if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. AJ, definitely add 4 Lions to your 2022 list. Okay. Wolf is pretty much perfect in every way, except it feels empty. That hurts it a lot for me. 3 out of 5. Yo, I cannot give that movie a 3 out of 5. Even if it feels empty, maybe if the story doesn't feel like it's whole, it doesn't really feel, like full of content. I gotta give it more than a 3. It's just so well made. Love Wolf, but I don't know if it cracks my top 5 for Scorsese. Okay. Ken, what's your top 5 Scorsese? Let's talk about that. I probably haven't seen a lot of them, but We'll see. Let me know your top 5 Scorsese. Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street, I enjoyed, but I probably won't watch for a very long time, if I'm being honest. All right, next one is Groundhog Day. I have a hot take for Groundhog Day. I didn't love this movie. I wanted to love it, but I'd seen so many time loop type of movies before I watched this one, and it just didn't hit me. It felt kind of depressing. It wasn't like when I watch Palm Springs, I can laugh. I can, even though that's kind of the same thing. It's like kind of the same premise. But I watched Palm Springs before this one. I watched a lot of different time loop movies before I watched this. And I just didn't love this one. I know people hold this one high. It's in most people's favorite time loop movies, but it's not in mine. I'm sorry. Bill Murray, he was fine. But yeah, my favorite Bill Murray movie I just watched for the first time over the Christmas season is Scrooge. That's got to be my favorite Bill Murray performance. I loved that movie. I loved that movie. Even better than Ghostbusters. I'm sorry. Next film is American Gangster. Russell Crowe, Denzel Washington. I have a hot take on this one. I didn't love this one. I wasn't interested in what was going on. I wasn't interested in the story. Performances were well done. But by the end of the movie, honestly, I felt like I was on my phone for the most of the movie. And then by the end of the movie, I was just completely checked out. It just didn't grab me. I'm sorry. Now, this one. This movie right here, man. If you want to see a dark film, this one's it. This one will mess with you. Like, this one messed with me. After I watched it, I was like thinking about this movie. Like, can somebody be this sadistic and like dark, like in their mind, like be like this? Yeah, I think if you're into like, if you're not very squeamish, I think you should check out this one. But like, this one is not for everyone. This one is not for everybody. No, sir. It's not. All right, moving on to some of the comments. Scorsese has made like 40 great films, right? Edge of Tomorrow. Oh, that's gonna be in the next stream. We gonna get into Edge of Tomorrow. That was actually on my list for this year, but it's on my other 50. So I'm gonna do my first 50 on this stream and my second 50 on Thursday. So Edge of Tomorrow is my favorite time loop movie, and we're gonna get into that though. We're gonna get into that later this week. Don't worry. Do not worry, Luke. Tony Movie Chappie says Groundhog Day is good, but it's a bit long in my opinion. Yeah, like I wouldn't even say it's good for me. I would say it's okay. It's all right. Mid-level media with his Scorsese ranking top 5. 5 Raging Bull, 4 Cape Fear, 3 Casino, 2 Goodfellas, 1 Taxi Driver. I would really have to sit down and think about my favorite Scorsese. But I haven't seen Casino, I haven't seen Cape Fear, I haven't seen Raging Bull yet. Raging Bull is in my next year's 100 movie list. So I'm definitely going to check that out. Taxi Driver I watched this year. It was on my 100 movies list. And so was Goodfellas. Both are phenomenal. So I'm not mad at your top 2. The other 3 I have not seen. So I don't know. I think Wolf of Wall Street might be in my top 5 just because I haven't seen a lot of these films. The House that Jack built was overhyped for me, I think. I didn't think it was that crazy. What do you think is crazy, bro? That's my question at this point. If you don't think The House that Jack built was crazy, and then what they did with the end of the movie, Yo, yo, the oh man, I'm gonna have to hit you in the DMs about this movie because I think the House of Jack built was it was wild, and I can't even say that it was a great film because it's just so messed up. like it had me really thinking. Top five Bill Murray stripes. What about Bob? Ghostbusters, Scrooge, and Ghostbusters 2 and Ghostbusters. Okay. Wait, your number one is Ghostbusters? And then your number two is Scrooge. Okay. I get what you did there. So number five is Stripes. Okay. What about Bob is great. Scrooge is my number one. I have not seen Stripes, so that's one that I need to check out. I have 7 people watching right now. Thank you guys for checking me out. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it. Tony Movie Chappie says, I seriously need to watch House that Jack built. Yeah, like if you're not squeamish, if you're okay with some violence, definitely watch it. But that movie is so messed up. I don't know what Ken is talking about. I really got to talk to Ken. Been watching so many 60s and 70s Italian horror, I guess, man. Like, if you don't feel like the sequences of events that happen in this movie are messed up, I don't know, man. You might be a little messed up, Ken. We're watching all these movies, man. I don't know. We'll see. Jared Runner, what's going on, man? Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you. Okay, next one is Dallas Buyers Club. I didn't know anything about this movie when I went to watch it. When I watched it, I did not know anything. Only thing I knew that is that Matthew McConaughey was in it and he wears a cowboy hat because I've seen this poster so many times. So I was just like, okay, I guess I'm going to watch this Matthew McConaughey movie. So when I actually found out what it was about and that it was inspired by a true story, I was like, whoa, that really took me by surprise. It was just like, okay. All right, Matthew. So Matthew McConaughey really he brought it with this film, but the actor that shined the most, in my opinion, was Jared Leto. Jared Leto's performance in this movie knocked my socks off. I couldn't even I was like, is that Jared Leto? And of course, I've seen him in a few movies here and there. Like I've seen him in some movies, Suicide Squad and what's the other movie? Requiem for a Dream. So I wasn't that shocked, but I was like, Jared Leto is a great actor. He's one of my favorites now. After seeing a few movies this year with him in it, he's one of my favorites. So Dallas Buyers Club, I definitely recommend this one. It's inspired by true events. I think going in not knowing anything about it really helped me enjoy it a lot more, because if I would have known what it was about, I would have been like, okay, I kind of see what's coming. I see, what's about to happen, but I didn't. I kind of was blindsided in the best way. Next film is Snowpiercer, and I have a hot take with this one. Didn't love it. It wasn't a bad film. It was a definitely competently made film, but I just was not interested in what was being told. Bong Joon-ho, I think he did a great job, directing wise, but as far as, the way the story was told and what was really being told, it wasn't for me. And I'm not saying that the movie is bad. It just wasn't for me personally. Same with this one. I'm not even going to spend too much time with this one because I just didn't like it. I didn't like the story. Performances were fine. Cinematography was okay. Oscar Isaac usually is. I don't think I've ever seen an Oscar Isaac performance that I didn't like, but Yeah, this one was just very meh. I think I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 because it just didn't impress me in the slightest. Next one, didn't really care for as well. Adam McKay's film. And I know people really, really love this movie. And, you know, Adam McKay is getting some more buzz because of his new movie, Don't Look Up, that came out, which I did enjoy, which I'm finding out that a lot of people didn't. So I'm kind of like flipped because a lot of people liked The Big Short. And then as far as Don't Look Up is concerned, they don't really love that one. And I did like it. So maybe Adam McKay, like I'm kind of flip flopping with society on that one, on his films, because The Big Short did not strike me. I think mainly because I didn't care about the story. I didn't care about what they were talking about. I think it was stocks and bonds and things like that. I honestly don't even really know. I sat there and watched the movie, put it on. I think I was on my phone like half the time. So I didn't care about this movie. And that was The Big Short. Magnolia, Paul Thomas Anderson, man. Oh, this is the first PTA film that I've ever seen. And the way to kick it off, man. The way to kick it off, because this one, it really had me. I love the performances. I love the anthology feel to the film. This is like one of the first anthology movies, dramas that I've seen as far as films are concerned. I have seen Trick or Treat, and that's a horror, but this one, Magnolia, is 57, number 57 on my list, and counting down. And yo, Tom Cruise. This is just, I haven't seen a whole lot of Tom Cruise performances besides Ethan Hunt in the Mission Impossible series, but Magnolia is probably my favorite besides Ethan Hunt. Definitely a more dramatic role than Ethan Hunt, but I don't know. I just love Mission Impossible movies. Another hot take coming in hot. Clockwork Orange. I won't stay on this one for too long. I just did. None of the characters were likable in this movie, and I felt kind of bored watching this movie. And I think it's just for me. I'm not a huge Stanley Kubrick fan. There are some movies that I do like from Stanley Kubrick, but I was me and Ken actually, were watching some Stanley Kubrick films earlier this year. Either it was this year or last year. I think it might have been last 2020. I can't remember, but he had a whole month where he was watching Stanley Kubrick films, and I was watching some with him. And I'm just not the biggest fan of his style of movies. And like Clockwork Orange is definitely bottom for me. And I know people are probably going to unsubscribe when they hear me say that. It's okay. Please don't unsubscribe. But I already feel the heat from the comments. Like, I'm not even on the comment page right now. But like after I said that, I got like 50 comments. So I'm scared to go over there. So I'm going to move on to the next one. I'll come back to the comments. Next one is 12 Years a Slave. This was a breath of fresh air for my list because I just went through 1, 2, and then I like Magnolia. I didn't like Inside Llewyn Davis and The Big Short. Magnolia was cool, and then I didn't like Clockwork Orange. But then 12 Years a Slave was phenomenal. Loved it. Loved the movie. It's tragic. It's emotional. It's intense. It grabs your heartstrings. I know people kind of get mad about this movie for certain reasons, but yeah, I will say that it's not the most rewatchable film. No slave movies really are. No really slave movies are extremely rewatchable, but this is something I definitely will put on again. I will own at some point. But yeah, like performances were phenomenal. Lupita Nyong'o was so great. And then you had Brad Pitt, and you had Paul Giamatti, Paul Dano, Benedict Cumberbatch, Michael Fassbender in this movie. You love to hate him. That's one thing. That's one thing I'd say. You love to hate his character for sure. Then we kind of go back down with the next film. I didn't really care for Jackie. It was just kind of boring to me. What didn't stand out in any way. Like Natalie Portman was fine. Like I think the wardrobe and the sets and things like set design and wardrobe were well done. I will say that. But everything else about this movie, I just did not care about. I didn't care about the story. I felt like the performances were pretty mundane. Maybe not the performances, but the way the characters were written. Maybe that's how it was in real life. The people were just kind of plain and bland, but I did not get any like jaw-dropping performances. When I see a biopic, when I see a film about somebody's life, I want to be wowed by the performances, by the characters, by how everything is written. I did not feel that here. I did not feel it at all. So, Jackie, maybe a 3 out of 5, 2.5, 3 out of 5. Not for me. And then we got Big Trouble in Little China. It's like one of those 80s films that are just, kind of action-packed, cheesy as all get out. I think I liked it for the most part. I think I did like it, but it was just like one of those movies that I don't really care about. It's not like one of my favorites or anything. It's just like, okay, I put that on. I saw it. All right. So Kurt Russell. Yeah, Kurt Russell was cool. I think it was cool. I think I'm going to hit the comments right now. See what y'all got to say about Clockwork Orange. See what y'all got to say about Clockwork Orange, man. You think Matthew McConaughey deserved the Oscar dub over Leo and Wolf? No. I think Leo and Wolf was better than Matthew McConaughey and Dallas Buyers Club. Dallas Buyers Club is good, but I still believe that Leo should have won the Oscar. I agree. I think Leo and Wolf is better. Top Leto performances: Urban Legends, Blade Runner 2049, Requiem for a Dream, Dallas Buyers Club, and Suicide Squad. Laugh emojis. You got to be joking about Suicide Squad, but I haven't seen Urban Legends, haven't seen Blade Runner 2049. Working for a Dream, phenomenal. Dallas Buyers Club, phenomenal. So even in American Psycho, I liked Leto's performances. And I'm not going to get into that because that might get into spoilers. But if you haven't seen American Psycho, he is in American Psycho. I turned off The Big Short after 20 minutes. I agree. I wish I did that. But, honestly, I wanted to sit down and watch the movie before I gave it a score. Bale was a beast in Big Short, I guess. I mean, I don't know, man. It wasn't for me. I didn't care about anything in that movie. Magnolia was the first time watch for me as well. Cruise was phenomenal, but that was my only positive. What? You didn't like Magnolia? I'm sad. Magnolia is one of my favorites of the year that I've seen. No, it's Cocktail. Okay. I don't really know what you're referring to. I love Clockwork Orange. I know you do, Ken. I know you do. That's one person that I knew was going to be sad about Clockwork Orange. The Killing was awesome. Oh, The Killing was good. I did like The Killing from Stanley Kubrick. And yeah, The Killing was good. I liked it. Clockwork Orange is $15.99 at Best Buy and Amazon. If you're into a Clockwork Orange right now and you don't own it, it is at Best Buy and on Amazon for $15.99. Don't miss out on that. I just unsubbed. I know. The 4K can. I still need to see 12 Years. I am salty that I didn't grab it on Blu-ray at Half Price Books for $2. Half Price Books for $2. Yo, that's a steal. You better get that. Are you only doing 50 out of 100 now? Yes, I'm only doing I'm counting down from 100 to 50. So I am on, what am I on now? I am on 53 right now. So we're almost done with the list for today, but I'm going to do 49 to 1 on Thursday. I still have one more movie to watch in my 100 movies list. And that is my number one movie. So moving on to the next film, Moneyball. Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Great movie. I'm not a baseball person though. And like a lot of people told me, you have to watch Moneyball. You don't have to be a baseball person to understand what's happening. You'll love it anyway. And I felt like I didn't love it because I wasn't a baseball person. So I don't know. Like I didn't love it. I can't admire the film though, because it was very well made. I love the performances, but like what they were talking about, they were throwing out baseball statistics and things like that, and I just didn't care. That's when I didn't want to not care about this movie, but that's just kind of how I felt. I couldn't even finish Big Trouble when I watched it 10 years ago, being been meaning to revisit. It's one of those 80s cheesy movies, man. It's not anything that's like crazy amazing or anything, or even that iconic. It's just, one of those cheesy 80s films, and I enjoyed it for the most part. It's like a 3 out of 5, really, honestly. Big Trouble is a classic. Is it though? Is Big Trouble in Little China a classic? I don't think so. For me, it's not anyway. Like okay, this is how I feel about classic movies. Even if I don't love it, I can admire things about it and say that it's a classic. Even though I don't love The Goonies, I can see things about it to make it a classic, and I can admire the film for that reason, but it doesn't strike me personally. Like I picked up Goonies on 4K a couple months ago. I think it was in October or no. I got it for Black Friday. And yeah, I've seen the movie multiple times, and even though I don't absolutely love the film, I can say that it's a classic because I can admire things about it to make it a classic. Big Trouble in Little China, I can't even say that about anything in the movie. Can't. Jared Runner, half of these I haven't seen. Well, now I don't feel so bad because I was feeling bad about like certain movies that I haven't seen. That's one reason why I made this list, because I'm like, I love movies, I love cinema. So we definitely have to do something about all these movies I haven't seen. I need to give Moneyball a rewatch. Yeah, I probably won't rewatch this movie for a long time, if I ever rewatch it. Moneyball is great. Personally, one of my favorite baseball movies, but 42 is my favorite baseball movie of all time. I respect that. I'd say it's a classic depending on your generation of growing up watching it. Okay, I could see that. I could see that. Goonies is terrible. Ken, are you trolling? Because I feel like you do like the Goonies though, and you got a little laughing emoji. So I don't know. I feel like you like the Goonies though, because you love 80s movies. So that's the second 80s movies you had something negative to say about. Interesting. Let's see. I got to type something in really quick, and then we'll move on to the last two films. Move on to the last two films. If you're watching at this point, I really appreciate you because I've been talking a lot about a lot of movies, and I know you guys probably have better things to do with your lives. All right, so moving on to the next film and it is another Brad Pitt movie. It is Fury, and I enjoyed this one a lot more than Moneyball. And I'm not a huge war film guy. I think I'm getting to be more of a war film type of person because, like a couple years ago, if you caught me with seeing a war movie, I'd just be like, "Oh, you talk to me about a war movie," I'd be like, "I don't watch war movies. I don't watch war films." But I'm trying to expand my palette. I'm trying to get into more Christmas movies, more animated films, more anime, more Italian horror, like just trying to get into more genres and expand my palette of film. And war films were not my thing a couple years ago, but now that I've seen a little bit more, I'm definitely digging them a lot more. Like I really enjoy 1917. That's one of my favorites. But my all-time favorite is Hacksaw Ridge. I didn't love Saving Private Ryan. That's a hot take. I know. I'm going to watch it again. Hopefully my thoughts change on the film, but the storytelling in that movie wasn't my favorite because they just kind of threw us into like these characters. They just threw us in, didn't give us any backstory, but I get it along the journey. They get to know each other, things like that. I think it's kind of the same with this here, but I just feel like this movie has so much more character. Like each character in this film has its own thing. They have their own thing. They have their own personality, their own depth, and they each bring something unique and different to the table. And that's what I really loved about this movie. Fury is definitely up there with one of my favorite war films. And Brad Pitt did a great job. Michael Pena, he's kind of a comedian. I feel like he's more of a comedian than a dramatic actor, but in this movie, he killed it. Shia LaBeouf, once again, even though we don't love him right now because things that he's done or said or whatever, but such a great performance from Shia LaBeouf, John Berthal, and I just really enjoyed each actor and each character, what they represented and what they brought to the table. So Fury, check that one out if you haven't. If you enjoy war films, check out Fury. Last one, the last film that we're going to talk about today, Bohemian Rhapsody. Rami Malek, however you say his name, however he says his name, however you guys say his name, phenomenal. Great performance. But I felt like the movie was a little empty. I definitely love the soundtrack more than the movie. Soundtrack Queen is amazing. I love Queen. I love the band Queen, and Freddie Mercury was such a great performer, such a great vocalist, songwriter, and I think this movie did respect his legacy. And the final act was great. Well, the final sequence was great. And I would have loved to see this in the theater. I think I might have liked this movie more if I saw it in the theater. But I didn't. So, and it's nothing that I hated. I really enjoyed this movie, but Bohemian Rhapsody, man. Rami Malek did a good job. He did a really good job as Freddie Mercury, and I commend him for that. But I felt like this movie was a little hollow. I feel like it wasn't as deep. It didn't dive as deep as some of these other films do as far as biopics are concerned. I think it needed to be a little bit more gritty. I feel like it needs to tell a little bit more of the story. Yeah, so I think I gave this one a 4 out of 5. Let me make sure. Let me see what I gave this one before I just start lying to you guys. Yeah, I gave it a 3.5. Like in retrospect, I probably would give it a 4. Just because I felt like it was a little hollow in some areas, but the performances, the vocals, man, I just was like, my heart was melting when, you know, they were singing some of the songs, and like some of the songs that we love, we know and love, and seeing that on the screen was great. So that has been my 50 films, the first 50 films in my 100 movies list. And next time I hop back on here to do my 49 through 1, I'm going to have my scores. We're going to talk about the scores and things like that. Let's go into the comments and see what folks are saying. No, not a Goonies fan, but I didn't grow up with it either. Okay. Oh, really, Ken? I love the Goonies. I like the Goonies. I will say I like it, but it's definitely not something that I love and just run back to. I know my wife loves it, so I put it on sometimes for her because I can tolerate it for sure. Watch The Patriot, one of my favorites. Okay, I'm definitely going to add that to the list. Goonies was so good, but it's another one of those I don't have to own titles, but I watch it from time to time. 4K D-Ray. First of all, 4K D-Ray, what's up, man? Thank you for stopping by the stream. I don't think I welcomed you into the stream. Thank you for stopping by. The Patriot kind of bores me. Okay. So I'm going to keep that in mind when I watch it because Ken loves it and 4K D-Ray doesn't love it. So when I watch it, I'm going to keep both of those in mind. Bohemian Rhapsody was my second favorite movie of the year when it came out, behind Spider-Verse. Yeah. I mean, I can understand that. I think if you love the movie, if you love the music, it really can influence your thoughts on the movie. But the way I kind of think about it is if you take out all the music, if you take out all the performances, all the music, is it still a good movie? Do you still love it as much? That's kind of sometimes how, unless it is a musical where the story is integrated into the songs, then yes, I get like something like In the Heights. You cannot take out the music and In the Heights and it still be a movie. Like you can't do that. But if you take out the music in Bohemian Rhapsody, you can, because there's more like performances instead of like moving the story along. So that's how I kind of look at musicals that are like this. If you take out the music, is it still a good movie? Do you still love it as much? I don't know. Nice watches, AJ. I enjoyed reading your first time watches reviews on Instagram this year. Yeah, thank you for everyone who's followed me this year on Instagram, on YouTube. I haven't been putting out a ton of YouTube videos this year, but thank you for, you know, stopping by the live streams, liking the videos, commenting in the chat. I really appreciate you guys. And I have a couple more lives for the year. One on Thursday and one big one on Friday. Better than Braveheart. Ken the Patriot is better than Braveheart. Oh, question. Saying Patriot better than Braveheart? I wouldn't agree. Well, I haven't seen Patriot, so I can't even speak on that. But Braveheart was great. Phenomenal film. And that's on my part 2 of 100 movies list. It will probably drop now, but the theatrical experience, like a big time concert, such a fun time. That's why I said that's one thing I said about it is if I saw it in the theater, I probably would have had a different experience with it, because yeah, it was a really good, really great performances. And if I would have heard that like on the you know, big speakers, seen it on the big screen, it probably would have been a lot more immersive. But it wasn't as immersive with this one. Like I said, I love the performances and the songs and things like that, but the story just kind of felt hollow. But yeah, so this is gonna be the end of my part 100 movies list. So I did 1 through 50 today, 49 through 1 on Thursday morning. And yeah, so thank you guys for hanging out with me. talking to me about my list. Hopefully, I'll see you guys back on Thursday where I talk about the rest of my list. And then next year, I'm going to be doing my 100 movies list again. I'm going to do another 100 movies list, but I'm going to be doing it periodically throughout the year. So it won't be like, so these movies will be more fresh in my mind where I can talk about them a little bit more deeply and I can remember, how I felt. But if you want my deep thoughts and my more in-depth thoughts about these films, you can definitely check out my letterbox on my Instagram. They're all posted there. And yeah, we about to be out of here. So before I go, I want to let you guys know that I have a huge live stream set up for Friday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to be doing my Blu-ray haul. I'm going to be going through my 2021 films. I'm going to go through all the 2021 films that I've seen ranked. I'm going to rank them. Well, they'll already be ranked, but I'll talk about them. It's going to be a big night. Probably be on for about a couple hours. And yeah, I appreciate everyone who stopped by today, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.